Season Corillo and Paroni. So what is your role or your responsibilities as a partner?
Yeah, being a partner is a very huge responsibility for me. So actually, from business development, which includes selling of services, of course, looking for prospective clients, and of course, the very important of that is closing new engagement for that client. So that's only one of the role that I am doing in being as a partner. Second is people management. Of course, I handled a lot of people in my team, not only in my team but for the group as well. Um, of course, part of my responsibility is coaching and mentoring with the people that I handle. Third is of course project management. So as after that I have closed the engagement, of course I am still being part of the project as an engagement partner. So I handle the whole project management for each of the engagement. Fourth is financial management, wherein I have to ensure that the budget for each project for the team is in accordance with the budget that I have that I have set for each of one. Of course, to ensure the profitability of each of the engagement that we have.
All right, yeah, that's a very huge responsibility, right? So, um, having mentioned all those like tasks that are really challenging, what do you like about your current job?
What I like the most is are the everyday challenges that I have encountered, because I think that makes me I think stronger and in facing all those challenges. And the good part of it is the feeling of satisfaction after you have surpassed all of those challenges.
All right, yeah. So all of those challenges, it means that it's a lot, right?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Being as a leader and also as a mentor to your team.
All right. But can you cite an instance wherein you can give us an example of a challenge that was really so difficult for you to handle?
One of the challenges I think is how are you going to handle client complaints. That's
Okay.
part because you don't you have to think actually what is good for the client, and at the same time is what is good for the company at the same time, even though some of the concerns of the clients are not really I can say is
Valid.
valid, or but you really have to stand what is the standard, what should be the correct one. So you have to very firm on that decision, um, but not to put the client in an end road actually. So we always give options in a different situations, but of course we have to protect also the credibility of the firm at the same time.
Yes, that's actually difficult to handle, right?
Yeah.
Especially if the client is
Yeah.
irate, upset already, or has a lot of like demands.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but then I think it's still worth it because at the end of the day, everything turns out right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, before SCP, did you work in other companies or?
No. So SCP is my first job. So you can already compute how many years I am here. So after the board exam, so I started my career in SCP. In SCP, I was referred by a former friend who is currently working in SCP that time.
Alright, wow, homegrown.
Yeah, I may say homegrown. But this is my first job and maybe the last job, I think.
Oh, that's great. So can you tell us about your journey in SEP? Like, what was your first task when you started in SEP?
Actually, yeah, the first day in my SCP is a very challenging day, actually. That day, I feel like I am quitting. Because, of course, being a fresh grad, I don't have any work experience, any little work experience that time. But I was tasked by NUS, Mr. Season, who is the managing partner, because we're only few in the firm during that time. My first day, in my job is I was instructed to go to the client. So of course, being coming from the province, provinciana, so I am not aware or really knowledgeable on the locations, on the areas that I'm going to, where I'm going. But I was only instructed by NUS that to go in one of the client in Green Hills. Actually, that's my first assignment, which is the Ortigas and Company Limited Partnership. So one of the first tasks is I will help in the sales audit of the tenants in Green Hills Shopping Center. So Green Hills Shopping Center is under OCLP. So I was tasked to go there. So I was instructed to ride in a jeep, something like that. So I have a cell phone that time, so I can easily actually look for the road where I'm going to ride. And so bottom line, I arrive at the client's office, but unfortunately, the person whom I'm going to meet is not there, and they told me that it is in the head office in OCLP. So okay, another instruction coming from NES. Okay, you go to OCLP building, which is here, just in Ortigas, Meralco Avenue. Just go here and look for this person. So again, I traveled, go there and look for the person that NUS mentioned, and that is the first task that have been assigned to me. However, on that first day, I was instructed to do overtime. That's my first job, my first day, and I was tasked to do overtime. So the feeling of I don't mind of doing overtime. That's okay for me. But my problem is how am I going to go home that night, because I am not really familiar with the streets, and then I'm living in Tayuman that time. So and then I don't know what's that feeling that day nung that night na parang takot na takot ako umuwi. Hindi ko alam kung paano ako uuwi. And while I just have to ride a bus. Pero takot na takot talaga ako umuwi. And then sabi ko, ganito ba everyday? Parang ganito ba everyday yung mangyayari? So parang feeling, sabi ko, parang ayoko nang pumasok tomorrow. So I'm really afraid na parang kung ganito, parang hindi ko sobrang layo ng area. Tapos, but the following day, though sinabi ko yun that night, the following day, I still go to work. And then, actually that engagement lasts for, I think, 2 to 3 months. That's the first engagement. And then, after that, I was assigned. So, medyo marunong na ako magbiyahe that time. So, the second task, the second engagement that I was assigned is in Makati, in Ayala. So, the function would be general accounting. And it is a multinational company, a British company. Just so happened that I am the only accounting person in that company. And I have to use QuickBooks accounting system, and I don't know anything about QuickBooks. So before we go there, before NUS endorsed me to the client, he met me in one of the carinderia here in Pearl Drive. So our office is in Pearl Drive Plaza, Pearl Drive Plaza that time. So during lunchtime, I have an orientation with NUS on the new client that will be assigned to me. And he taught me QuickBooks in just 15 minutes. I cannot forget that moment, because he just taught me that system that I'm going to use in the client for just 15 minutes, and I'm going to be deployed in the client by 2 p.m. that day. So I have no choice. I have no choice but to understand in a short period of time all of those things that I have to learn to use that system. But, to cut the story short, so I was deployed there. So that time we have no immediate superior. We're all directly reporting to NUS, because we're just less than 10 that time. So me, hindi naman pwede every time I have to ask questions with NUS. So I learned to